Now let's talk about a real problem. Let me say you something. Some of you have been sitting in a specialist offices, the cardiologist, the gastroenterologist, the neurologist, and none of them have connected the dots. Not because you have imagining symptoms, but because perimenopause symptoms do not stay in one system. They move from your brain to your gut and your metabolism and your nervous system simultaneously. And the standard checklist: hot flashes, night sweats, irregular periods. That checklist is the tip. Underneath, there is a metabolic war happening in your body that most doctors were never trained to see. You are not broken. You are not aging prematurely. You are in a hormonal transition that restructures how your cells produce energy, how your gut processes food, and how your brain retrieves information. The problem is not the transition itself. The problem is that no one told you that is actually happening at the cellular level. Here is what I mean. When estrogen fluctuates and in perimenopause, it does not decline smoothly. It swings. That fluctuation hits 5 systems at once. Your serotonin pathway destabilizes, your insulin sensitivity drops, your gut microbiome shifts, your cortisol rhythm flattens, and your mitochondria, the engines inside every cell, start running on less fuel. One hormone, 5 systems. That is why you feel like everything is falling at the same time. It's not coincidence. It is architecture. Symptom 1, brain fog. Number 1, perimenopause, brain fog. You are mid-sentence and the word vanishes. Not from memory, you know the word, but from retrieval. The information is stored. Your brain simply cannot access it fast enough. This is not early dementia. I want to say that directly because some of you are sitting here thinking exactly that. A 2025 review in the Journal of Neuroendocrinology confirmed that perimenopause-related cognitive changes are measurable, real, and reversible. They do not process to dementia. They resolve when the hormonal transition completes or when the underlying mechanisms are addressed. Right now, I want you to check something. Put your hand on your forehead. Feel the temperature. Some of you will notice it is slightly warmer than usual, especially in the afternoon. That is not random. That is your prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for working memory and word retrieval, running with reduced estrogen support. Estrogen maintains synaptic density in that region. When it fluctuates, the connection thing, the words get stuck in transit. Now the biohacking angle. 3 evidence-based interventions for this specific mechanism. First, creatine. Yes, creatine, the compound most people associate with muscle. A 2023 meta-analysis found that creatine supplementation in women improved cognitive performance under stress and sleep deprivation. The mechanism. Creatine replenishes cellular energy in the brain the same way it does in muscle, the donating phosphate to ATP production. When your mitochondria are underfueled, creatine acts as a backup energy reserve for neurons. 3 to 5 grams daily. Talk to your doctor pharmacist before. Second, NAD+, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. This is the cofactor your mitochondria need to produce energy at all. During perimenopause, NAD+ levels decline. Supplementing with NMN or NR, the precursors your body converts into NAD+, can restore mitochondrial efficiency. Dr. Mary Claire Haver and several endocrinologists now use this clinically for brain fog. Third, sleep architecture repair. Most memory consolidation happens during deep sleep. If your sleep is fragmented, which we will address in Symptom 5, creatine and NAD+ help, but they cannot compensate for lost consolidation windows. Fix the sleep first. We will come back to this. Symptom 2, metabolic shift. Number 2, the weight redistribution. You are eating the same, moving the same, and yet the weight is shifting to your midsection. You cut calories and nothing changes. You increase exercise and nothing changes. Not because you lack discipline, because your cells have become insulin resistant. A 2025 paper published in PMC confirmed that the gradual decline of estrogen during perimenopause disrupts key metabolic processes, specifically increasing insulin resistance and shifting fat storage from subcutaneous, the fat under your skin, to visceral, the fat around your organs. Visceral fat is metabolically active. It produces inflammatory cytokines. It disturbs leptin signaling. It makes losing weight biologically harder, not physiologically harder. Here is the part that connects to something I will explain later. Insulin resistance and cortisol dysregulation are a feedback loop. Cortisol, your stress hormone, increases insulin resistance. Insulin resistance increases cortisol. If you address one without the other, you are fighting half the war. I will give you the protocol that addresses both. Keep that in mind. Gut disruption. Number 3, your gut. You eat a salad, you feel fine. You eat a sandwich, you feel fine. Now, by the end of every day, your stomach is tight, heavy, full of air. You wake up normal. By dinner, you are uncomfortable again. You think this is your gallbladder. You think it is an ulcer. You think something is seriously wrong. It is your gut responding to estrogen fluctuation. And here is why this matters beyond bloating. You have estrogen and progesterone receptors all along your digestive tract. These hormones regulate how fast food moves through your intestines and how sensitive your gut is to stretch. When estrogen swings unpredictably, your gut loses its rhythm. But this is only half the story. A 2026 review published in Proceedings of the Nutrition Societal Cambridge confirmed that the gut microbiome, the bacteria living in your intestine, directly affects how your body processes estrogen. There is a specific bacterial gene collection called the Estrobolome that metabolizes estrogens. When the microbiome is out of balance, estrogen metabolism is out of balance. It becomes a loop. Hormones disrupt the gut, and the disrupted gut disrupts the hormones further. This is why perimenopause gut health is not a side symptom. It is a central mechanism. If your estrobolome is compromised, the estrogen your body still produces is not being metabolized correctly. You are not just bloated, you are hormonally compromised from the gut upward. The evidence-based interventions for this specific loop: dietary fiber diversity. Aim for 30 different plant sources per week. This is the metric that the American Gut Project found most strongly correlated with microbiome diversity. More diversity means a more resilient estrobolome. Fermented foods. A 2021 Stanford study showed that a 10-week fermented food diet increased microbiome diversity and reduced inflammatory markers. Kimchi, kefir, sauerkraut, miso, not supplements, actual food. Soil contact and animal exposure. I have covered this in my previous lectures. Outdoor soil exposure increases gut microbiome diversity through environmental microbiome transfer. If you want the full evidence, watch my lecture on microbiome diversity. The link is in the description. Symptom 4. The rage and anger. Not mood swings, not irritability, anger. The kind that makes you leave the room because you cannot control what is coming out of you. The kind of makes you ashamed afterward because you know better, but in the moment you cannot access that knowledge. This is the symptom women are most embarrassed to report, and it is one of the most biologically understandable. Estrogen regulates serotonin and dopamine, the neurotransmitters that stabilize mood. Progesterone supports GABA, the neurotransmitter that calms the nervous system. In perimenopause, both hormones fluctuate unpredictably. The threshold for emotional activation drops. Things that never bothered you before now trigger a full neurological cascade. Serotonin dips, dopamine spikes, GABA insufficient to buffer the response. You are not becoming a different person. Your neurochemistry is running without its usual stabilizers. For this mechanism, progesterone support, whether through hormone therapy or through compounds that support GABA. Glycine, 3 grams before bed, has a calming effect on the nervous system through glycine receptor activation. Ashwagandha, an adaptogen that helps the body regulate cortisol and supports GABA pathways. But ashwagandha has interactions with thyroid medication and autoimmune conditions. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist before starting. Symptom 5. Sleep architecture collapse. Not just difficulty falling asleep. The architecture of sleep itself is collapsing. Deep sleep, the stage where memory consolidation and cellular repair happen, is fragmenting. You are sleeping, but you are not resting. Here is the mechanism. Your circadian rhythm, this 24-hour cycle that regulates cortisol, melatonin, and body temperature, is controlled by the suprachiasmatic nucleus in your brain. This nucleus is estrogen sensitive. When estrogen fluctuates, the circadian signal weakens. Cortisol, which should peak in the morning and decline for the evening, flattens. Instead of a healthy morning spike that wakes you up, you get a flattened curve that leaves you groggy in the morning and wired at night. I want you to rate something right now. On a scale of 0 to 10, where 0 is completely calm and 10 is the most activated you have ever felt, what is your level right now as you listen to this? Some of you will notice the number is higher than you expected. That elevated baseline is the cortisol flattening I just described. Your nervous system does not return to baseline as efficiently as it used to. This is not anxiety. This is a hormonal circadian mechanism. Now, closing the open loop from earlier, here is the protocol that addresses both insulin resistance and cortisol simultaneously. Your circadian reset protocol, based on 2025 research published in Nature. Step 1. Morning light exposure within the first hour of waking. not through a window outside, 10 to 20 minutes. This resets the suprachiasmatic nucleus and initiates the cortisol peak that should have happened naturally. A 2026 clinical guide confirmed that morning sunlight for women over 40 studies circadian rhythms, supports hormone balance, and improves sleep architecture. Step 2. No blue light after sunset. Blue light suppresses melatonin. In perimenopause, your melatonin production is already compromised. Adding blue light suppression on top of that collapses the signal entirely. Use warm tone lighting after dark. Remove screens from the last hour before bed. Step 3. Supplements that support this specific architecture. Magnesium glycinate, 400 milligrams before bed, supports GABA activation and muscle relaxation. Glycine, 3 grams before bed, lowers your body temperature, which is a biological signal that initiates deep sleep. Now, let me put this together. Perimenopause is not a checklist of isolated symptoms. It is a systemic restructuring driven by estrogen fluctuation that simultaneously disrupts 5 mechanisms: brain energy production, insulin sensitivity, gut microbiome composition, neurotransmitters, stability, and circadian rhythm. The evidence-based biohacking framework addresses these as interconnected symptoms, not separate problems. For brain energy and brain fog, creatine 3 to 5 grams daily plus NAD precursors based on 2023 meta-analysis and current clinical use. For insulin resistance, the circadian reset protocol combined with fiber diversity based on 2025 research and the American Gut Project data. For the gut estrogen loop, 30 plant sources per week plus fermented foods based on Cambridge 2026 and Stanford 2021. For neurotransmitters instability, glycine 3 grams plus progesterone support based on GABA receptor research. For circadian cortisol collapse, morning light protocol plus magnesium glycinate based on Nature 2025 and 2026 clinical guides. You are not deteriorating. Your system is transitioning, and transitions when you understand the mechanism can be supported. I have to make a medical disclaimer. This lecture is for educational purposes only. It does not constitute medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. The interventions discussed, including supplements, light protocols, and hormonal support, must be evaluated in consultation with your qualified healthcare provider. Individual responses vary. Some supplements have contraindications with existing conditions or medication, including ashwagandha with thyroid medication and autoimmune conditions. Do not start, stop, or change any treatment without professional medical guidance. If this lecture connected dots you have been trying to connect for months, share it with someone who is still sitting in specialist offices without answers. The description contains links to the research papers I referenced and to the previous lecture on microbiome diversity. I will see you in the next lecture.